What's up, everybody? This is Maxwell. I know Ryan said don't introduce myself, but this is my show, my brother. He said don't introduce it on the clip. But anyway, we will bring the smoke. And I got the one and only Jennifer Brooks in the house. What? Go ahead, man. She the NAACP president. Man, I'm going to just let her kind of tell you a few things about herself, then we'll go into it. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Jennifer Burgess Brooks, and I am the Newport News NAACP president. And I am glad to be here. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And so I've been the president now for the past not 2 decades, but the last 2 years. So so I'm excited about all the great things that we've been doing, within the NAACP. I love the NAACP and what it stands for. So I love it. I love by profession, I'm a professional clinical counselor. So I've been a counselor for the past 25 years. So I love people. I love helping people. I love making change happen, which is what the NAACP stands for. And so I'm excited to be the president. I'm excited to do some great things here in Newport News.
Wow, well, I'm glad. The funny thing about it is I had been the president, I guess like 4 years, maybe 5. I'm not sure what it was. And some people started getting on my nerves and coming at me when I was running for office saying I couldn't do it simultaneously. Although, Colonel Bobby Scott had been the president before. And while he was in office, and it's really not a conflict of interest, but some people just kept pressing me. And it's funny how they call me more now that I'm not the president. You can stop calling me if you want to because you didn't want me to be the president when I was there, so leave me alone. So I'm just keeping it 100. I'm bringing the smoke since I can't smoke cigar because she don't want to be around the smoke. I'm just going to bring the real smoke. So, but before I left, I didn't want to leave before I knew I had someone who would be able to take the reins and really keep it pushing forward and do better than me. So if you can't see, some people got ego problems. They don't want to find nobody who can be as good as them or better than them. They want to find somebody worse than them so people can be like, "Ooh, we miss you." I don't want you to miss me. My thing is, if you're a real leader, you will help lead people. You will help train people. You will help lift them up. And Miss Brooks had been around the ministry for a while. She had came here when her brother died to take care of his kids, which is crazy honorable. And that's how I met her. She ended up joining New Beach Grove, and she was doing such a phenomenal job, just assisting and catching on with the vision. I was like, you know what? She'll be a great person to do it. And with me, because of all the outside forces, see, with me, I won't take up for myself as much. But if you mess with my people, see, some people think I be weak because I smile and I got big teeth to see it. But at the end of the day, if you mess with my people, I'm coming for you. And so I feel like I'm in a better position for when people come. Because what I hate about our people sometimes, and it's pretty much all people, but we can't afford it. We attack each other so much. And so I really just when I was running for office, I didn't want to deal with it because I was already in a new territory, didn't understand what I was doing, and to be receiving some of the pushback that I was getting from certain people. Like certain people that were plants in there that came from people who were like regional directors and stuff who really were, I don't know what they wanted. I think a lot of times people want you to keep you under their thumb. And when they see that you independent and you can work without them and you'll call them when you need them, but when you don't need them, you won't call. Anyway, long story short, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. And I said, hey, Sister Jennifer, hey, you want to do be the NAACP president? She prayed about it or whatever. See, I knew she prayed for real. See, sometimes when church folks say they gonna pray about it, that mean they really telling you no. You understand? You know them niggas don't even pray. You feel me? But I knew when she said she had to pray about it, I knew she was praying for real. But most time when church folks say they gotta pray about it, I'd be like, whatever, that's no. You know what I'm saying? My cameraman know what I'm saying. But Sister Brooks took it over and she's doing a phenomenal job. And she's doing such a great job. And people have called me and commended you. In fact, Councilwoman Tina Vick called and said, man, you were doing a great job when you were doing it. And for you to be able to give it to Sister Jennifer and for what she's doing such a great job. And that was a testament to your leadership because you ain't jealous. You will help people be great. And even if they do some things, even if they be greater than you. So I appreciate you, Councilwoman Tina Vick. And anyway, so that's it. So go ahead. Let us know what you want to talk about because you said you want to be a journalist. That's what she told us. So I'm going to let you interview. You run this thing, girl.
I did. So I just share a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing within the NAACP. One of the things that we just recently did was we had a Know Your Rights kind of town hall. So we had an attorney to come in and talk to us about what your rights are if you get stopped by the police. And so it was really phenomenal. I learned a lot. She asked us a lot of scenarios, a lot of questions. A lot of people came out, and I got all the answers wrong. Like, you think you know what your rights are, like, and you really don't. Like, if the police stop you, and I think you shared your story when you first got here to Newport News and what you went through. Well, I had kind of a similar story like that, maybe about a year or so, where I got stopped by the police. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got stopped by Newport News police. And I got stopped because I was swerving. I was actually on my cell phone. I was on my way back home from the hospital. I went to see a friend, daughter who was in the hospital. So I was on my way back home, and I dropped the phone. When I dropped the phone, my car started swerving, because I was trying to pick it up. And so when I picked it up, the blue light stopped me. And when the officer came to my window, also 4 cars surrounded me.
That'd be different.
And for the first time, I got to really see what that felt like. Like, it's intimidating, because I was sitting there thinking, like, little old me, like, 4 cars are surrounding me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It was Saturday night. I'm trying to get ready so I can go home and go to church. And these cars are surrounding me. So I really got to feel like what that felt like. And it was really, I have to say, it was intimidating. I was scared. And so when the officer came to my window, my purse was behind me. And I had my hands on the wheel, and he asked me for my driver's license. And I was like, no. Like, I'm not moving my hands. Like, what happens when you move your hands, with certain police. I'm just saying. And so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I said, you're going to have to tell me which hand you want me to move.
Yeah.
And then, he kind of laughed. And he said, well, we'll stop you because we suspect that you've been drinking. And I said, well, I haven't. I have not been drinking. And he said, well, the way you were driving, it looked like you were drinking. I said, why do y'all have all these officers out here? And so, finally, I said, you need to tell me which hand you want me to move. And I'll very slowly do that. And so he told me to move my right hand. I moved it. And then I told him that, I said, I'm getting ready to go to church. I have not been drinking. Listen, and I had the name drop. I said, I go to New Beach Grove, Dr. Willie G. Maxwell. He a chaplain.
Yeah. I feel you.
And Chief Drew, comes out of church sometimes. So the guy started, kind of laughing. But, seriously, I got to really feel like, see how that felt. And I had this conversation with Chief. And that's one of the things too, is that I thank you for creating that relationship with the Newport News Police. Yeah. And so you had already started that, and now we're able to kind of pick that up and continue. And so that's great to be able to have. So I had this conversation with Chief. Of course, I called him and talked with him about it. It ended really good. The guy was very nice, very respectful. He could see that I hadn't been drinking. Then he let me go. But then I thought about if that was somebody else, like if that was a brother. I'm just saying,
I got a story once you finish. We got 3 short ones I'm gonna tell you how.
It just really put me in a position where I know that I had that feeling. I was scared, and so it ended well for me, and I had the conversation with Chief. We talked about it. I called him, we had some dialogue, and he said the officers was just as scared as you. And so I get it too, because I also went through the Citizen Academy. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. And learning about what the police goes through, what they go through when they stop us, and what they're feeling, and you the reason. So I said, why did 4 cops have to come? And he said because they suspected that it was going to be an issue when that Drew was drinking. That is drunk drive, that you were a drunk driver, and so the suspicion is that it may be a problem. And so we talked about it. I kind of understood some of it in the aspect that they were scared that, I could have had a gun, or I could have been, a threat to them, but none of them really got out. They just had the cars like behind me, just in case. And so, Chief was like, well, Jennifer, they was just as scared as you were, so always know that the police are scared for their life too. And so I get it, but, it was a bit intimidating,
Right. And on one hand, I think they scared of it like more so when they see us, even though other people of other colors shoot them way more than we do. Mm-hmm. Most of us are shot. We don't even have a gun. I'm going to give you 3 short stories. One is when I was at home in Atlanta, East Point, College Park, were like more of a place that harass you. Atlanta didn't harass you that much because it didn't matter. They had so much crime, they wouldn't bother you. I was running one day, exercising because I ran cross country, I ran track, ran the mile relay, man, 4x4 and all that. And cops had stopped me and was all hostile to me, like somebody house got broken into. I'm like, okay, like what you telling me for? And they were coming to me like I had done something. First of all, I got on these little shorts. Cause I'm running, track shorts back in the day. Jordan was there, but he wasn't there for track. You ain't had no long bag of shorts for track.
Right.
So I'm running, I'm trying to get in shape. I'm like, dude, first of all, if I stole something, why would I have this on? I had some pockets, some bags and whatever. So anyway, another cop kind of de-escalated, but the guy was very hostile to me. And so I ain't like the police because I had been pulled over several times for no reason, driving dad's car and whatnot, just because I was black. Sometimes even by black officers. So I ain't trying to say blame white people, just a culture of
Right.
America when it comes to us. We over-policed. And so then when I came here, I got stopped one time by a black cop. And because my light had a shortage in it and in my Lexus, and it kept going in and out. So it was out, he started having my head up. He said, "What's that substance on your seat?" I'm like, "What you talking about? There ain't no substance on my seat." He said, "No, right there." I said, "Man, I'm a pastor. I ain't gonna do it." They said, "That don't mean nothing." I said, "It means something to me. It means something to me. Like, I'm not gonna be out here with no drugs in my car, man. What you want to watch? Search the car?" And he kind of calmed down. But what showed me in these incidents with this one was black cops sometimes do the same thing as white cops. Now, this is where In Touch was birthed. Not this one, but the one I'm about to share you now. Neighbor across the street, sick. Get ready to go get him some medicine. Older guy. Going to get some medicine. I'm driving. A car in front of me stops abruptly. I mean, it's not a light in sight for 100 yards. You can't even see where the next light is from where we were because it's a curve, blah, blah, blah. Car stops in front of me. I hit the back of the car. Now, was I falling too close? Probably, and the tires weren't good. I was about to get my mom them that car. I had just bought a Land Rover, so I was going to get in that car. But anyway, car stopped. Boom, I hit them. They get out, and they bleeding, but it's Halloween. She got these little teeth, and she a vampire.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, "Oh, God, you okay?" She said, "No, okay. So she calms down. I'm calm. I'm calm because she tell me she okay. I thought I had. So she's like, "Yeah, the car in front of me just stopped all of a sudden." So the car in front of her was trying to make her hit them, but I hit her. Because it's like in the middle of the street. Like it's on War, it's wide open, like I said, for at least 100 yards, no light. So I'm on the phone with my neighbor saying, "Hey, I just had an accident, so I'm not gonna be able to bring you the medicine." While I'm on the phone now, first of all, it's like 10 minutes. And I said, "Let me go ahead and call dude." So the cops come and he said, "Why are you on the phone?" He starts fussing at me. Ain't asked me if I'm all right or nothing. This white lady comes from across the street. I don't know who she is. To this day, I can't tell you what she looks like. I don't know if she was an angel or real. I don't know. I just know she came and she said, "Why are you talking to him like that?" Oh, probably because he's black. But first of all, it's not even his fault that he hit the car. That car in front of them stopped because I can tell that car, she was just walking and she saw it. And she really, even though she was escalated, she de-escalated because she was putting the cop in his place. God says, "I need you to do a basketball tournament to bring the police in the community." I'm like, what? I don't like the police. I already didn't like the police. And so then I had to deal with Sheriff Morgan because Sheriff Morgan was black and he was a law enforcement. He was cool, like one of my mentors. And he kind of calmed me down. Even when I was running up, you get him talking about, "Yeah, he ain't like the police when he got here. I wonder how he do all this stuff with the police there." But he was a bridge. He really was a bridge. And so I started doing a basketball tournament to bring the cops. Police, if you only see black people when you serving, or any type of people, if you only serving as a police officer, I mean, they not calling you to come to a cookout. They calling you because something wrong.
That's right.
And so the only time you see a certain ethnic group or demographic, then of course you can just dehumanize them because you look at all them as criminals, although all of them not criminals. You just see the ones that's criminal because you a cop. And so then if I'm in the neighborhood, the only time I see a cop is if they arrested my mom, my dad, and my cousin, my friend. I dehumanize them. So God told me to bring that together. And that was a stretch for me because I did not like the police from the run-ins I had in East Point and College Park. Driving while black in a Lexus or a nice car and you pulling me over just because I'm black. I know what you're doing. You're not fooling me. Blah, blah, blah. License registration, I got it. Here it is, what you want. You understand? So I ended up starting the basketball tournament. And one of the greatest testimonies I always say is, I almost said his name. One of the officers told me, he said, because we have them coach some of the teams,
Wow.
the police officer, so they can interact with them more and bring that positive interaction,
Awesome.
even more so than just playing against each other. And the cop was like, Maxwell, man, I was in this neighborhood and the dude kept saying, coach, 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 coach. And he said, man, you know how people be saying people's name? And he was like, man, will this person answer them? And I turned around and he was talking to me because I coached the team. And he was calling me coach. And he got teary-eyed, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And he got teary-eyed like, man, it was just so amazing that he looked at me as a human and not as a cop. He saw me as a person. He saw me as his coach, not an officer. And he just thanked me for that. And I was like, wow. So it's like a lot of times it's just people don't have those interactions and be able to understand each other, because I can easily dehumanize you if I only see you in bad
That's
in
true.
bad situations.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I'm glad what you're doing. So I had one person call me because they went to your event.
Okay.
And we had done one before, but I did it with kids. You did it with adults. And so the adults called me and they were very disturbed, not about the meeting, but they said, so basically it's rules for black people. See, sometimes light-skinned people don't understand. That sounds racist too. But so they were like, I had to have a talk with my son differently.
Yeah.
Because when you black,
Absolutely.
even though they want to search your car, you really can say no. It's better for you to say yes because it's safer for you. And they were telling you to get home and then deal with it. And
That's
she did
right.
not like that. But it caused her a lot of stress. But she was appreciative that you all had it. So how does it make you feel to know you had to tell your son, tell your daughter,
Yeah.
when the police pull you over, even if you don't have anything,
Yeah.
the certain things that you probably have to go through that white people don't deal with. Like that white lady, there ain't no way in heaven or the other place that I could run up on a
Right.
police officer
That's
and say,
right.
stop fussing at this person without getting shot. I can guarantee you it's going, look,
Right.
we get shot with our hands up.
That's right.
If that white lady did not intervene for me, I don't know where that would have gone.
Yeah,
Because
that's
first of all,
true.
he was a little, I know I could have whooped him, man. I'm telling you right now. But I knew in my mind I can't do this because
Right.
And what happened too is, sorry for going back to the story, I'm on the phone. My neighbor, even though he's sick, he got so worried about me. He asked me who I was because the person with cop was so hostile that he actually came to the scene and he was
Wow.
sick. I'm going to get his medicine. He was so scared for my life that
Wow.
he came to the scene and was like, is everything okay? Why you were talking to him like that? He just going to get my medicine. He not a criminal. He my pastor. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
just, it was crazy. And I don't want
Yeah.
to say their name either, but it's just, it's a true story. But how did that feel when you know you got to, it's two different laws for black Americans?
Oh yeah, it doesn't feel good at all. That's
Yeah.
that's why I like the NAACP, but it doesn't feel good. And I talk to my grandsons all the time because they're like 15 and 14 years old. And one of the things
Look at this boy, black don't crack. Grandmama, what girl? Yeah, what? Hey boy, you got some people looking for some grandmamas now, girl. You gonna have some folks looking for grandmamas instead of mama, boy. Go ahead.
my grandsons. My grandsons, I'm always having this conversation with them. And one of the things, and I hate to do this to them. So
Got
a
to.
lot of young boys, they like to wear these hoodies. They like to wear these hoodies. And I know it's the fashion and I know they like to wear it, but I don't let them wear hoodies. I don't let them wear hoodies because, you get profiled. I still today I think about and I am hurt by what happened to Trayvon Martin. Like that, I can't get that out of my
In his own
head.
neighborhood,
In his own neighborhood.
where he was supposed to be.
Right. Like this little boy was literally minding his own
And
business,
this
getting
white
some
man,
Skittles.
not even in his own neighborhood.
Right.
But you following somebody in his neighborhood. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like I still think about that, and I tell them about Trayvon Martin all the time. In that story, I'm like, this young boy had a hoodie on, simply going to the store, minding his own business, getting some Skittles, and walking home, and got profiled and got stopped and ended up getting killed. And so I say to them, like, you can't wear your hoodie. Like they were like, gosh, like like when they come to my house, I collect the hoodies. Like you can't
Man,
wear
and
that.
It's,
Like
it's amazing
you
that
just
that
can't.
happens that way because what's that guy, man, that used to do the Daily Show, man, comedian.
Oh,
Man, I can't think of his name, man.
Trevor Noah.
No, the white guy. Jon Stewart.
That's right, John
Yep.
Stewart.
Yeah,
Oh.
so Jon Stewart talked about how he went to a place with a hoodie on to do an experiment and nobody bothered him, and he went wherever he wanted. And the black man had a suit on to go get his child, and they stopped him. He did experiment himself.
Really?
That's why I love him so much, man. Even though he did comedy, he was always serious at the same time. He understood
Wow.
racial profiling. That's why I love Caucasians. I love my white brothers and sisters
Yeah.
that understand the struggle.
get it, yeah.
Now, some people are tone deaf and they don't understand. That's why I love Chief Drew. Now, we
Yeah,
done had
I
tough
do.
conversations behind the scene. We didn't agree all the time, but then he understood. I said, look, just because you ain't racist, don't mean some of your police not racist.
Right.
And so I love the way he's kind of changed some of the culture because
Yeah, he has.
the only reason In Touch exists as a nonprofit and a basketball league is because of a racist situation that happened with me. Because the white lady, she called it out. You understand? And so the thing was, he said that nobody bothered him, but everybody kept questioning the black man, and his child was in there.
Wow.
And so the thing about it is, and how even the guy that passed, rest his soul, that was on that started man, what Regent University, what a show was. He talked about how Trayvon Martin had a hoodie on and that's why he got shot. He should have got shot because he looked like a criminal and a black lady.
Pat,
Yeah, him, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh
can't
my
think of his name.
goodness.
Man.
That's
So
crazy.
anyway,
So it's still a lot of profiling. It's still
It is.
racism. I mean, like, who would have ever thought? I say this all the time. Like, I never thought that in 2024 we still would be getting, racially profiled.
Yeah.
That my grandson can't wear a hoodie. I mean, he can, but I just say I don't want you to be profiled. I want to keep you safe. Like, you just can't. Like, I know it's a style, but you and today you just can't. And so it's sad. It makes me mad sometimes that we're still here, that we still have these issues. So that's why I tell people the NAACP is important. The fight is still real. Racism still exists today. Unfortunately, it does. It still exists.
yeah, so Pat Robertson.
That's right.
CBN.
Yes, him.
He had said that. And it's funny how, he was talking about Michelle Obama because she didn't have sleeves on for a dress
Yeah.
and said she was dressing provocatively. But then when the Ivanka Trump or whatever his wife, Trump's wife name, Trump's wife had the naked picture, he said it's art.
Right.
So black lady showing arms is a slut. Yet white woman who's showing
crazy.
everything butt naked
Right.
on Bring the Smoke.
Right.
Butt naked, but it's art.
Right.
You understand? And you look at the race profile, and when you look at when the terrible flood happened in
Come on now.
in New Orleans, Katrina. They say, oh wow, the black people had bread, they looting. They said the white people, they said they found food. And so my thing is the way that you use it. I can almost tell you on the news if a white person shot somebody, because 9 times out of 10, if it's black, they show the picture every time and say what color he is. Sometimes they don't show the white person unless it's a mass shooting. And I'm saying that a lot of times when you look at the news, if you look at the nuances, sometimes the victim black and the shooter white, they'll start talking about the criminal, they'll be showing the black person. It's all about optics. And I know I'm not saying that Bill Cosby is guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. But all I know is every time that he went to try to purchase NBC and Discovery, that's when they started bringing his past out. I'm not sure if he did or not, but I'm saying it surfaced when he wanted to buy it before. Then it disappeared when he left it alone.
Wow.
Then it surfaced again. Then all of a sudden his son, I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory. His son was killed, blah, blah, blah. They say he got hit by a car because he would change the tire on the side. But that kind of car he had got fixed and flat tires. So let's just keep it 100. Then the last time he was just so old that he was like, man, I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to keep trying to buy it. Oprah Winfrey even spoke on this. It might have took it off the internet. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Oprah Winfrey said, man, every time he tried to buy that, they start bringing these issues out. And my thing is, how many black people went to college? How will the trajectory change when A Different World of the Cosby Show came out? The percentage of black people going to college and
Yes.
pursuing different careers
Absolutely.
skyrocketed. So if you change all this with 2 shows, how much will you change the trajectory of your people when they came you on a network? If
Yeah.
you can look at some of his past things that when he was doing picture pages and all that, showing you the history of he showed you the art stuff and show you how Gucci had similar stuff that was already been done in Africa. If you look at the patterns, you go to Africa and you come back with those patterns, you can see Gucci, you can see Louis Vuitton, you can see all the different patterns that they take from Africa and bring here and make millions of dollars.
Wow.
And he was teaching this stuff back in the day before I even knew what Gucci and Louis Vuitton was. You understand? So I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying he innocent. I'm not saying he guilty.
Yeah.
But when you start being positive for black people and beginning to start taking us to another level, you definitely gonna be targeted.
You're
So
gonna be
hey, keep your
targeted.
life right when you trying to uplift us.
Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
to. You have to. So
Well, a lot of that is fear too.
Yeah.
You know, of course, it's just fear. I think Roland Martin talks about that. You know, his book about people fearing black people. You
Yeah.
know,
man, a white person even wrote what the
Absolutely.
fragility of whites. Man, a white person, man. So I gotta look at this, man. I'm just behind in that fragility, man. It was written by a white person, but yeah, it was written actually by the Robin D'Angelo, which is a white female, and she talked about how a lot of times white people are intimidated by black people, whether we not. And so many times we have to tone out. We personally have to tone ourselves down in our greatness, in order to make it sometimes in society. You know, because put it like this: Doug Williams, it's crazy. Doug Williams, and if you look on the internet, sometimes they'll say San Francisco, but it wasn't San Francisco that beat Denver that bad. It was the Washington Redskins. So black quarterback Doug Williams beats the brakes off Elway. You don't never see no 30 for 30. Right. And so Doug Williams, every time he throws the ball, great catch. Every time Elway throws the ball, great throw. You start seeing the nuances and the different stuff. So then he wins by a landslide. His family celebrates for him for 2 weeks. Then his family comes and have a intervention with him, although nothing's wrong with him. And they said, we just gonna be here for you whenever you want us to be here. When we gonna be here for you. Then she said, why? He said, because they ain't gonna let you play in the NFL no more. Now this happened in the 80s now.
wow.
They said, they ain't gonna let you play no more. You beat that white man too bad. That's what he said. That's what they said. And he did not play another day
Really?
in the NFL. And that's why, if you look at it, I mean, get mad, try to cancel me or whatever. Washington Redskins pay him for the rest of his life because they had to make it right. Because they didn't bring him back. They say it back, whatever. Wasn't nothing wrong with him. He beat the white man too bad in the 80s when they weren't ready for a black quarterback to do that. And the only reason he was starting is because Theismann got hurt. But when he was in Tampa Bay, he was bad, but he ain't had no line, was doing everything for him. So you just start looking at it. Even now, Tiger Woods had certain clubs he couldn't even go into. They were telling him that he didn't belong. If you look at one of those comments and pull it up, 'cause I know you're good at this. When he was at one country club thing and he was at one of the white golfers, famous golfers, said that it was just a fad. He was gonna file, but he's not good for golf. Blah blah blah.
What?
Straight racist, and then that didn't age well. You understand? So all I'm saying is when you black and you great, man, you gonna still continue to always have pushback. And the sad thing about it is sometimes it's gonna be your own people.
Well, do you think we always gonna have racism? I mean, is it always going to exist?
And
Like,
the Bible
you
says
know,
always gonna be wars and rumors of wars. Always gonna be something. I
yeah.
mean, like people keep talking about like Israel and and
Yes.
Palestine. They gonna
Yeah.
always fight. I mean, the Bible said Ishmael and
Yeah.
Isaac gonna always be at each other. And so Isaac, is the descendants is from Israel, and then Ishmael, the descendants are Palestinian. So it's like at the end of the day, it's biblical. So
Yeah.
it's the thing about it. Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
But
I'm
will it? Because
optimistic.
people tend to gravitate. I mean, you can look at it when people sit down. Like when I go on I was when I go on chaplain calls or whatever, and I go
Right.
see people. Say if I go to a person that's not my race, not my ethnicity, I talk to them. But when the family come, you see the group dynamics, and you can see that which is cool. You get shunned out, but I think I thought it was just because it's a crisis, but no. I was volunteering when I was running for office, and we were dealing with those individuals for that parade. And I was talking to the white man. He was asking for all this advice, blah, blah. And he was talking. Soon as the other people started coming, you started seeing his true personality come out. Because now my people here and I can't really talk to you. And you just see how the dynamics change.
Wow.
So I can't say, you know, King had a dream and I believe he prophesied. So, you know, maybe it happened or maybe it was just a dream. I don't know. That's a great question. I can't,
Yeah.
as a pastor, I want to have faith and I want to say, yeah, it'll end or whatever. But I mean, they had racism, so it's so old and then racism then becomes classism and all type of isms.
Right, it does.
Because the fun
And
thing
it's
about,
taught.
yeah,
It's taught, too. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's taught from a child with some people just have outright hatred.
man,
For people.
yeah.
Like I've seen people that's just outright just hatred. Like,
When I was younger, I didn't know until my mama told me when I got older. So I'd be playing with the little white kids down the street. They be playing with me, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I'm like, man, it's like, you be like, they just start coming. And so then mama had to tell me they start coming because their parents be like, okay, they can play with you for a certain age, but then when they get this age, they got to know they really
wow.
shouldn't talk to black people. Cause I lived in a mixed neighborhood. So when we first got there, we were treated so bad. I like I almost said this company name. It's a big company now, but it used to just be real small. But the son was cool with me. He lived right behind me in East Point. But Mama would tell me the reason why, it'd be like I didn't even, I'm a kid. I wasn't picking up on all this stuff.
Right.
But she was telling me how, they told them they didn't want me to come down there no more. I said, so and so that come, it don't matter. Their parents don't want you to come down there no more. Cause they don't want them associating with black people after they get a certain age. And it was just different to me. So like all of a sudden they just stopped talking and like you just say like, man, all of a sudden you don't even realize
Yeah,
it.
you don't.
Because I guess they be weaning it and then all of a sudden it just like, hey, I ain't, and then you go down and like mama say, no, I don't go down there no more. Like they don't want you to go
Yeah.
down there. It was just different. That was the 80s, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You didn't know what was going on
I didn't know
then,
what
but
going on, but
yeah.
she had to, go ahead and let me know
Right.
that they were okay with them kindergarten or
Yeah.
whatever, but once they started going to first grade or whatever, like 3, 4, 5, whatever, cool. When they first, second, third grade, they were just like, nah, can't talk to them no more. So
Yeah.
it's just amazing,
Yeah.
amazing to me.
But I'm optimistic that it'll get better. That's my prayer, that it gets better. And there are a lot of, like you said, it's not all police are bad, all white people aren't bad, all, there's some good police officers. I have a friend that was a great police officer. I went to a mixed high school, so I had a lot of white friends, a lot of,
Yeah,
I used to always try to, kind of go over, hang out with the white people and then hang out with,
yeah,
my friends. But I had a lot of, I came from a mixed
yeah,
school, so a lot of my friends were white. So
yeah,
and it was a good experience for me. I didn't have a bad experience like really like with racism, or I didn't know it one of
yeah.
the
In high school, I had a
Yeah.
good mix of people, and it ended up being okay. But the funny thing is, Dr. Herschel Robinson was the principal of Tri Cities. It brought 3 cities to school: Hateville, College Park, East Point, and 4 schools: Hateville, Woodland, Russell, and College Park. Right, high schools. Because he was black, a lot of white people didn't like him being a principal. So when I was young, I thought he'd just be late to work. The FBI and Homeland Security would have him coming into school at different times because they didn't want they didn't want people to know his schedule because he was getting so many
Wow.
death threats. And
Oh
we
my
get bomb
goodness.
threats because his black principal is the principal of white people. And this is 88 because I came in ninth grade in 88. So this like it's 88. It's almost the 90s. You understand? And that's how racist they were because this black man is the principal over white students. It's black people there too. It's more
Wow.
black people, but because it's still a good number of white people there, a lot of white people
Didn't want
were
him.
upset that he was the principal. So that's why the NAACP and what you do is great. And a lot of times, even when you say you with the NAACP, some white people look at it like it's a racist
Yeah,
organization. No,
absolutely.
it's to advance color people.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? That's Association for the Advancement of Color People. And because a lot of times we get the short end of the stick. And what people don't understand is the history of it. Two black people and two white people, one Jew or whatever, they
That's
who
right.
started the
They who
organization.
started
It
it.
wasn't just started by black people. It's
Yep.
just even some white people began to see all the lynchings going on and all the redlining and all the strange fruit, as Mahalia Jackson would say, hanging on the trees. If you all don't know what that is, just look it up. And so at the end of the day, they said we're going to get together and start this organization
Yeah.
in order to help black people be able to make it through
Yep.
all these different
That's right.
challenges.
They
And
sure did.
it still deal with it today.
Yep.
You know?
And there's still some great white people who are doing some great things right now today too to help black people. And you need to think about Harriet Tubman. She
Yeah.
could do all the things she did
Nope.
if white people didn't help her.
Nope.
So,
Exactly.
that's what I always share with people too. That's why I encourage people to join NAACP to help us. There are a lot of ways to get involved. We have 20 different committees within the NAACP. We have, if you're interested in social economic development, we have that. If you're interested in prison committee, we have that. If you're interested in healthcare, we have that. And so, as a matter of fact, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, we participated in, I participated with the panel. They invited NAACP, and I was a part of a panel that talked about mental health, how we can, be a part and make it better. And what I was sharing with the people is that there's a mental health crisis in this country. I don't know if people know it or not, but it's a crisis. People are suffering with mental illness, from all walks of life. Since COVID, through COVID, people that have never encountered depression are depressed now. People depressed for many reasons. They don't have a job, and if they do have a job, they're not getting paid enough money. People struggling with drug addiction because they're getting depressed. They don't know which way to turn. Housing is expensive for some folks. Homelessness has increased. So many levels now. People trying to raise their kids. You got a lot of single parents. And what I was sharing with them is that, when I was growing up, we always, had this saying, we needed a village. And we need to bring that back now. Like, we need a village. You need everybody. But you got so many young grandmamas and stuff now.
Look at
I mean, so,
that was a good one. That was a good one.
but we need everybody. Like, the churches, it's great. We have the church involvement, and that's good. But we need, like, the neighbor. Like, one of my neighbors, that their kids were, and we was at the bus stop. I was at the bus stop with my granddaughters, and I was waiting, and they were catching the bus, and I saw the kids running out in the street and running, jumping back, playing. Their mom had already left for work, so she has to be to work early. She can't wait for the bus. And so the kids are jumping out, running. So I got out the car, walked down the street, and I was like, stop that. Don't you jump in that street. Like, you could get hurt. Like, I was like, don't y'all move. Y'all stand right there. I'm sitting here with my granddaughter. And so at the end of the day, I went to the kid's house. It's my neighbor. And I told him what I did. I said, my name's Jennifer Brooks. I live right across the street. I said, your kids was running in the street, about to get hit by a car. They were running to the house, running back across the street. And I told them to stop. And she said, thank you so much. Like, she received it. And I said, I'm not going to sit here and let a kid run around and do something and see them doing wrong and not stop them. Like, I just can't do that. So if your child is around me, I'm going to stop them, to protect them. Because I think it takes everybody. Like, and so they appreciated that. They thanked me. And now when I'm at the bus stop, they don't move.
And look, this is the thing. I commend you, and I'm like, hey, that's what you should do. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but so many people these days get offended when you do that, even
Yep.
if it's for their children's safety. And so, what happens, or what can we do if, so say you went to the house in the parent hostel? Like, how do we handle that situation?
Well,
I just
you
wonder.
just try to share. I think for me, people feel you.
Yeah.
I think, it's almost like when I go to my granddaughter's school. Like, I go in there and I talk to all the kids and everything. And one of the teachers said, you just talk like a mama. You just have that mama kind of presentation, like they know. So I think people feel you.
Okay.
People don't kind of listen to the words you say, they feel you. And so it's kind of like with counseling. Like I think sometimes I'm in the store, people just kind of attract to me because it's like you just have that counseling, that caring. So I think people just kind of feel if you really care. They knew I cared about them. And I told them, I said, I wouldn't do anything to hurt your child. I care about your children. I don't have to know your child to care about them. Like I care about kids. I was an educator too. I worked in the school. I was a special ed teacher for about 3 years. I was a guidance counselor for 1 year. Then I went back to my counseling for about 25 years. And so all my life, all I've been doing is caring for people. So that's just what I'm called to do, help, encourage people. And so I think, people just, I haven't had that. Normally I feel like I can approach anybody. Like, how you going to say, I know people do it. Like, how you going to say, leave my child alone when I'm trying to save your child. I'm trying to help your child. Like I wouldn't do anything to hurt them, So I haven't, thank God, I haven't had that. I do it in love. I don't mean no harm. I'm not going to sit here and see a child get hurt. Like I'm not doing that. You can get mad all you want. I'm not doing it. And then the other thing, like I'm a counselor, I'm a social worker. So even I'm always watching people with their kids. Like you can't leave your child in the car. Like you can't do that. Like sometimes I've had to say that to people. Like you can't go in the store. Like one time I was shopping, I was in the store. And I saw a child in the car and I knew who the lady was because she was running, trying to get the top, running, trying to shop. And I said, ma'am, that's your child outside. I said, you can't, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Like, you can't do that. Like DSS, it's hot. You leaving your kids in the car. I said, I know you just running here for a minute, but I wouldn't do that if I was you. And I said, I used to be a social worker for DSS. And I did. I was a social worker too for DSS for about 6 years. And I said, you could get in trouble for that. And so she was like, thank you so much. Put that top down, go out there and get in your car. So she received it.
I get it because we just had a situation. I mean, on the news. Well, recently, close to here, where police all had to break the window and get the child out of the car because it was hot. And the child was
Wow.
just crying. It was hot, and and they were just screaming. So somebody saw the child, and then the police officer broke the window
See,
and got the child out of the car.
you save somebody's life like that.
Yeah.
Like you can't do stuff like that. And I think like going back to it takes a village. It takes all of us. So even if you don't see it, call somebody, get somebody. But you can save somebody's life. You can help somebody.
Because a young man, he left his child in the car, forgot, and came back out and the child died. He brought the child in the house, went outside and blew his brains out because
Oh
he
my
couldn't
God.
live with the fact that he had killed his child. He was grocery moving and around and forgot the child was in the car. And went out and did that. So, yeah, so it's good, like you say, take a village, but we got to be bold enough to do it because some people might not receive it, but, we still have to do it in order to
I
keep
think we
people
do.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I think that's our job. Even with ministry, that's just what we are supposed to do. That's just help people, protect people. And that just brings me to this suicide too. Like it's a lot of that, among our children, and that's another reason. Like this depression is really taking people over. So I tell people get help. you know, reach out to somebody, call somebody. One of the things I always even share with women, when we are doing women's events and, talking to women, is that no woman should be at the house broken. Like we got all these women, that love God, that, we always doing prayer ministries and doing women's ministry. But like no woman should be at the house broken with all these women. Like I'm not gonna be at the house broken. Like I'm gonna call somebody, But call somebody, get some help, ask for prayer, ask for some help, somebody that you can talk to. So, that's this mental health piece. Like it's huge, it's huge, and people are committing suicide. We hear about that, and it's sad. It's sad that that they fell into that, because that's why it's so important to renew your mind, to be transformed. And I'm also a life coach, I can tell you that. I'm a transformational life coach, transformational mind renewal life coach. And so I coach people and help people with the tools to learn how to think right. Because ultimately people aren't thinking clearly and they aren't thinking right. And so people have to be taught those things. That's why, coaching and counseling is healthy. It's healthy. If you need medication, it's okay. Like, you are not crazy. If you're suffering with depression, or you've been diagnosed with bipolar or whatever, like, you are not crazy. That's a stigma that people put out there, and people don't want that on them, particularly Black people. You know how a long time ago, just about in everybody's family, it'd be like somebody in your family, like, don't bother Johnny. Johnny, he fine over there. Just leave Johnny alone. He fine. Mama said something special about Johnny. Just leave Johnny alone. But, really, we should have been getting help. And so that's why I always plead with people, like, really seek counsel, seek some help. Call somebody. You can call the 24-hour line. You can go to the emergency room and get evaluated and take your medication. So I want to put that out there. It's important. It is so important.
I did good. Cause I want to say you crazy.
No, you didn't. Cut. No, you didn't.
But you just take your medicine. You are crazy. Take your medicine so you can be normal.
That's what you were sitting there thinking while I was saying that. You are not crazy.
Hey, look. The worst thing to do though is call somebody crazy though. You do right. You don't call somebody crazy who really crazy. They'll scare you to death. You call somebody crazy who not crazy. But if you call somebody crazy who really crazy, you better run for your safety. Cause they like, oh, you know my secret.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, what she really said, if you crazy, take your medicine so you won't be crazy. I'm sorry. I need to stop. Lord, help me. I want to be a better Christian.
Oh,
She kept saying you're not crazy. She know you are. Oh, for real. For real though, some people are just crazy. And we need to get you some medicine so you can be up. No, it's lying. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, I done mess up the whole interview. Hey, but look, seriously though. So, what are some things coming up on the calendar for the NAACP?
Okay, so one of the things that's coming up is Juneteenth is coming up, so we're excited about that. We will be partnering with the City of Newport News. They are having a Juneteenth event, and we're one of the vendors there. So we did it last year, and it was phenomenal. So it had vendors. It was at Lincoln Park last year, and so this year is going to be at Victory Park. So we're excited about that. We will be out there registering people to vote. Voting is so important. So we'll be registering people to vote. Please come out. I don't know the date, but it's Juneteenth around that time. And like I said, we'll be registering people to vote. We also will be registering people for the NAACP. We'll have a booth out there. What else is coming up with the NAACP? We are working on well, not an event, but right now we're partnering with New Beach Grove, actually, with the BOP, Bureau of Investigations, Bureau of Prisons, excuse me. And we're working with them, and we're creating this mentor, because one of the issues that they have is that men that have are transitioning out of jail and they're getting prepared to go back into the community to be productive citizens, they're having difficulties finding jobs. So what we're doing is we're collaborating with New Beach Grove, and we're going to have men as mentors to mentor these gentlemen. We're also reaching out to businesses, where we're going to have businesses come in. So we're working on a brunch that we can have businesses come in and commit to at least interviewing these gentlemen. So these are going to be businesses that already know that they've been incarcerated. Like it's not gonna be new to them. They know they've been incarcerated and that they need a job. Because right now we have just a small handful of companies in Newport News where they can get a job, and so we want to expand that.
Well, you actually probably got more than you think, and I'll talk to you about that offline.
Okay.
Because when I did a job fair for a second chance or whatever, I forgot what we
Yes.
called it some years ago, a lot of companies say they won't hire. They'll say it out loud, but they do hire them. But they don't want you to know they hire them because they certain things they might do that's in the house, but they don't give it to those people. So if they've been incarcerated before, if they have to put a door or something in the house, they won't send them out there.
Okay.
But they do hire them, but they don't ever want to be out loud saying that they do. So that's what I learned when I did it. So they actually do, but they won't say it out loud. You just have to dig deeper. And so they will do that. Now, one thing when you do this training, when you train in, because you definitely do an interview training because that's what we did. Because some of the people came in like flip flops and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
no, I had to teach them look and
We're
get them
gonna do all
shirts
that.
and pants to make sure they interview correctly. And what they do is a lot of times when they know that that they've been incarcerated before, and it's really not best practices, but it does happen. The interviewer sometimes will interview them under the direction of their leadership and almost be poking at them to see if they're gonna get upset. Now, some of us haven't even been in jail, but if you keep bothering me and pushing me for a moment, then I may say something like, "Why are you talking to me like that?" And it's not fair, but they
Right.
got to be prepared because it does happen. And some of those jobs and companies I'm thinking about told us how certain things did happen. So I'll like when we get off the line, I'll tell you
Okay.
certain companies that actually do hire, but they won't put it out loud that they do. And so they truly help them behind closed doors. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely we gotta work on that.
yeah. We
Cause
do,
that's
we
not
do.
good. Yeah, cause I mean, like they have what, like almost 100 guys there, and what, 35 have jobs. Like what about the rest? And
And,
the thing about it is they coming back into the community with us.
well, this is what we
So,
need to do. Now we partner, so we need to do too. Moving forward, we got to teach them how to do their own thing, landscaping, teach them how to get their
we
own
doing that part
jobs.
too. Yep.
Because when you begin to teach them their own trade, they become
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs. And this one guy, I think he's actually a priest. He goes around and what he does is he teaches them how to do trades, but then he has them staying in complexes that he owns. They pay rent there, but some of them may not pay rent, but they may be paying rent by keeping the grounds. They may be the ones working, picking up, making sure everything is uh, clean around the area, whatnot. And some of them might have the ability to cook, so they may be the one cooking for that particular neighborhood. So he was actually was supposed to come here some years ago, and then I don't know what we got away from. I need to call the gentleman that was working on getting him here, so we need to get him here.
Okay.
And I know the gentleman's name. I just don't want to say it out loud
Okay.
because he
Gotcha.
started some stuff. He just didn't follow through, and so we need to get in touch with him to make sure we get that guy
Oh
here.
yeah, that's great. Cause how great is that? Like when you finish that, you got a trade like that
Yeah,
that you could start your own business. I
exactly.
mean, have that type of trade. So that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
And then one of the other things that we're doing is, so we are working on our environmental. We have an environmental committee too. And so environmental social justice. And so what we're doing is we received a $20,000 grant. So we're excited about that.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
and we got that grant from Ocean Conservancy. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're partnering with Empower All, Uganda Sampler Jones. We're connecting, collaborating with her, and she's brought in the Sierra Club and also
Oh yeah, I
UVA.
like them.
All of them. They're gonna be a part of it, and so they're doing some data, as it relates to this coal issue. So we're trying to deal with that, trying to get some information about that data. How did that coal affect people? You know, and so seeing what we can do to help the people in that community.
Yeah, so the thing about it is, and I learned it on the campaign trail,
Okay.
and you got people like Shelly Simon that live that way too that'll definitely help partner with
Okay.
you. because they live over there, kind of where that coal field is, and a lot of
Oh, okay.
different other countries do tarps, but because of the money and how much it costs,
I know.
sometimes our society is so greedy they don't want to do it. It's an easy fix. It's just in their mind, it's gonna cut
Well,
their
you
bottom
know
line
what?
too
Why
much.
can't the coal company do that? Like, you mean cover it up?
Right.
Yeah, like that thing is like
That's
millions
it.
of dollars.
In they
Why
mind
can't
it
they
costs
do it?
in they mind they say it costs too much. So other countries who are less fortunate than us actually cover it. So when you talk to Sierra Club, talk to them, they got all the data. And then you get
Mm,
with Shelly Simon and other Delegate Shelly Simon and the individuals that
mm-hmm.
stay down that way. They'll definitely I believe team up with you and she's big on that environment stuff. So definitely talk
Yep.
to her.
So we're working on that. So that's huge right now. We're finishing, getting some information, seeing what we could do to help some of the citizens that been affected by it. Like,
Yeah.
maybe a humidifier. Some people got
Yeah.
asthma and different things.
Oh,
So
that's
we want to
awesome.
be able to give back something
That's
that. So
so
we're
big.
working on that now,
That's
seeing
what I'm
what we
talking
could do
about.
to
Oh,
give
look
them
at
something to
you.
help them.
That's why you the leader, girl. Hallelujah. That's good because here they definitely they big on that. So that's definitely a
Yep.
great organization.
And then one of the other things that we're getting ready to do too is that gun violence. So gosh, though, so stop the gun violence. So I was talking, we're partnering with Raw Tools. So last year we're also one of the sponsors with Raw Tools, and basically what Raw Tools does is take the guns and they turn the guns into a tool that you can use for gardening. And so they actually do it right on site. So they bring the machines and they just take the guns, and at the end it's a tool that you can use for gardening. And so we're partnering them. We want to try to see about bringing in guns, getting rid of guns, stopping gun violence. And so last year was really great. They also had people that had lost people to gun violence to come and speak and share their story. And so it was really heartfelt when you see so many people that's been affected by violence,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody, like that I don't think anybody should have a gun, but I just think that laws need to be in place for it, for safety.
Yeah.
And this just baffles me how people don't even want to see that. Like, they just want guns. I mean, like I went to the barber shop with my grandsons, and the barber had a gun around his waist, like,
Open
cutting,
carry, yeah.
I mean, that's what we are today now. Like, you just walk around with a gun on you while you getting your hair cut.
The funny thing is, more people got guns than you think, but he just probably don't have a concealed weapons permit, so he got to wear it out loud. So if you
Oh,
don't have a concealed weapons permit, you have to wear it. Like here, you have a right to bear arms, so you can wear it,
yeah.
but you got to show it. Like I got a concealed weapons permit, so
So you don't have to show yours.
I don't have to show mine. Now, like I said, I believe you should get background check. I had to get background checks, but a lot of times they get around that because at gun shows you don't have to wait. So that's how a lot of criminals get, and a
That's the
lot of
problem.
mental ill people.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they don't want to come against that. So if you go to the store, they got to do a background check, and the internet was messed up. So I had to go, come back, blah.
But why wouldn't you want a person that's gonna have a gun in their possession to have a
I
background
don't
check?
know.
I don't
So the
understand that.
thing about it is with some of the I would say they call themselves conservative, but I would say radical. Some of the radical Republicans, a lot of them,
Yes,
they feel like if you do one thing to prevent a criminal or a mentally ill person to not get a gun, you start to infringe on the rights of other people to bear arms. So they feel like if you start, okay, let me make sure you get a background check, and everywhere, no matter if it's a gun show, they feel like that's one step closer to you taking a gun away. So that's how twisted people think.
I
So
know. That's so.
that's why people gotta call it. They call it common sense gun laws, but some people just feel like it still ain't common sense. They feel like you just want to get to the point where nobody have a gun.
No, I'm not
And
saying
and,
that.
and my thing, I believe what you believe, but I still believe in the right to bear
Yeah, just be
arms. But I
safe.
believe you should have background checks,
Right. Do you know
and you
that
should wait.
kids are getting killed by, violence? I mean, so much shooting every time you turn around. Like
Yes,
somebody's getting shot, innocent. And
yeah,
it's innocent people.
I don't care because of
No.
money.
Like I don't, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
understand it. Like, why would you not, you know, support that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
makes
understand.
no
I hear what you're
sense.
saying, but that's not cool.
It ain't.
It's
But
not.
man, but look, I appreciate you. Had a dope time. Well, we got the president of NAACP, also my member. What y'all talking about? So we thank you for all the great work you're
Thank
doing.
you.
And then on our screen, you'll be able to see how to contact. You can tell them too. How can they contact the NAACP Newport News
So
if they
really,
want to give? Because I don't want to say if you need some. Everybody call me they need some. I'm not saying don't call me need some, but also ways you can
yeah,
donate and help support and come
absolutely.
volunteer. That's why we putting this out here. Everybody that
Thank
needs something,
you.
y'all gonna call anyway. Go
Thank
ahead.
you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we have a website you can go to and give. You can go to Newport News NAACP, and you can give there. And here's what I say to giving. It takes money to do anything in the community. So that's what you're giving to help the community. So we want to be able to be an advocate for people. So do go. Also follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, please, and you can find out all the different events and things that's going on. We're also on Instagram. So please connect with us. Follow us. You can inbox me, message me on Facebook. You can also email us at nnnacp 19@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Wow. Again, our president, Madam President, coolest grandma on these streets up in here, letting you know she
Thank you.
leading. So thank you all. If you want to join the Newport News NAACP, please use the information we just gave you and the
Awesome.
information on the screen because we need you to make a difference, right? We don't care if you black, white, whatever color you are. We just need you to help, continue to
Absolutely.
help fight for the right for us to have equality. Because a lot of times equality really doesn't come free as we think it should. Even though we even say in our Constitution that, it's
Yeah.
self-evident that all men are created equal. But when they made the Constitution, some people say they weren't thinking about African Americans, they weren't thinking about Hispanics, they weren't thinking about non-whites and individuals who were not a part of the dominant or majority culture. So we want to make sure that you are able to help. So we are going to give you
Absolutely.
this information so you can help make a difference. Dude, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.